shows up with their heart and their mind and their efforts aligned with our vision of positive experiences for all children. And when people show up in alignment, great things happen. And it really is my pleasure and my honor to work with them every day. So thank you. Even the awesome 4C staff could not put together a day like today without the help of 4C's really dedicated board of director and volunteers. Will 4C's board of directors and volunteers, if you're in the room, would you please stand? Anybody? Thank you. Our volunteers are essential to making our vision a reality. And so are you. Today really isn't about us, it's about you and the great things that you are doing today and every day to create positive experiences for children and make great things happen. And great things really are happening. The state of Indiana just announced the enrollment of the 2,000th provider on Paths to Quality. That milestone could not and would not have been achieved without the hard work and the dedication of many of you in this room. If you work in a program that's enrolled on Paths to Quality, would you please stand and remain standing? Please remain standing now if you're a level 2 or higher. Please remain standing if you're a level 3 or higher. And yeah, absolutely clap. And remain standing now if you are in a level 4 program. That's incredible. Now, preschools and part-time programs, here's your chance too. Many of you became accredited this year. And if you work in a part-time program, a home, a center, or a ministry that's nationally accredited, would you please stand to be recognized? That's level 4 with you too. Congratulations. Accreditation is a remarkable accomplishment. And at the same time, you and we're not just making accomplishments as programs, we're making accomplishments and we're growing as individuals in many ways. But one important way is in the achievement of higher education. And now I'd like to ask you, if you have a CDA or you are currently enrolled in classes for a CDA or higher, an associate's, bachelor's, or master's degree, will you please stand and remain standing? Remain standing, please, if you have an associate's degree or higher. Congratulations. 4C staff, you too, if you're in the room. Remain standing if you have a bachelor's degree or higher. And a master's degree or higher. Congratulations. Do we have any PhDs, docs in the room here? Maybe next year. We are growing as individuals. And shortly I'm going to introduce you to a very special individual, Mr. Anthony Richardson. And I'm going to do that first through sharing the story of how we came to meet. My colleagues across the state will occasionally ask me, how does 4C find such really terrific keynote presenters, and I usually say that each one has their own story. And today's story began when Kativa Tuttle, our family child care mentor, education specialist extraordinaire, presented at the National Association for Family Child Care Conference in Tennessee. And Mr. Richardson gave a keynote presentation there. A few days after the conference, a couple of his CDs and a post-it note appeared on my desk, and it's kind of a trademark Kativa understatement. He might be a good presenter, providers liked him. And I thought, wow, Kativa must have really been impressed. And if you know Kativa, she's not easily impressed. So that meant something. So on my way home, I popped the CDs into my car player and I listened. And like you, my work is highly rewarding, but also really highly demanding and sometimes stressful too. Well, listening to his music made me smile. And it made me remember why I do what I do, and made me want to be the best I could be at what I do, if that sounds familiar. And I hope you'll feel that way too. I know you will. Something else quickly though. I kept that CD playing for 3 straight days in my car, with my 2 teenagers in the car. And on the first day, sorry, Mr. Richardson, but they groaned, you know, but that's their job. They're teenagers, right? But here's what's cool. On the second day, I started to hear some humming from the back seat. Now on the third day, we were singing and laughing together, me and my 2 teenage daughters, and we were there inside the room. One of his songs has come inside the room. We were inside the room together, or in this case, the car. But then I knew for sure Mr. Richardson had won over Kativa and me and my daughters, and I knew that you needed to meet him and your kids needed to meet him through his music. So please join me now in welcoming Mr. Anthony Richardson.
Thank you so much, Ms. Granati. Thank you extremely much. I tell you, it is a pleasure indeed to be here today. Wow, with words like that, I don't know what to say actually. But as I look out, I see so many faces, and I'm trying to see who is this person that I really know from way back when we were growing up as children. There you are. It's good to see you this morning. Let's give Lisa a great big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up. Before I go further, I have a question. I would like to know, how many of you work with children? Just raise your hand right now. You have something to do with children. Okay, great. I'm in the right place. The next thing is, if you love what you do, I want you to pause and think about it. Secondly, if you do not like what you do, I want you to think about why and why not. Now let me give you a backdrop a little bit about me. I've been working with children ever since I was a child. I used to take songs and make up little games and put it to music and would get my peers to join in with me. And I found that so much fun. And as I grew older, I said, you know, one day I would love to write children's books and CDs and songs. And so I used to collect tapes and go to the store and buy something from Disney, Sesame Street, and listen to the song. I thought, oh man, I can do that. I can make up songs like that. And I would make up wild stuff. For instance, let me try one today. Let's see what happens. I like to drive down the road. I like to ride in the car. I have some friends like you. We can go very far. We will take some time and drive around. We'll have some fun with our children. Just join me, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have some fun today. Oh, everybody snap your fingers with me. Come on, people. Now, everybody snap your fingers, you can see. Oh, now clap your hands, clap your hands. Everybody clap your hands. You can clap your hands for me, and that's very good stuff. How did you feel? Got your attention, didn't I? Well, you know, I start my day with music. I've been doing it for over 20 years now. I start every day as a teacher with music. You know why? Because we can change the world with music. Let's find out how. And I hope I'm in the right place, all right? So I just want you to follow my direction. If you see me do something like this, that means to stand up. And if you see me do something like this, you know what it means to sit down. Are you ready? Oh, I guess not. I'll try one more time. Are you ready? Yeah! All right, let's roll it. Now check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Follow my directions. Put your things down. I want you to get ready to move along with me. Do as I do. Here we go. Here we go now. I hope you can follow. I like that. Good. Now, if I was a child, guess what I would want to do? Good. Everybody keep up. Now, all these ladies, sound like me, turn to the beat, and you will see. Come on now. Swing your arms side to side. You can do it just like a cool. Now, all right. Now, watch this. Can we do like this? Down and up. Down and up. Come on now. Down and up. Down. Cool. Say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I can be. I can be. Now, wave your hands. Side to side. You got it. Oh, looks good. Breathe it, breathe it, breathe it, breathe it, come on now, breathe it, breathe it. Oh, come on, clap, you got it. All right, here we go now. Shoulder is up and down. Move your palms around. Shoulder is up and down. Yeah, move your palms around. Good. Give yourself a hand. And you guys are so smart, so smart. I want you to look at something. Tell me I forget. Show me I remember. Involve me I understand. And if I tell you, yeah, you get some of it. But once I involve you, you will remember. Some of you will leave here today and you're going to remember me for the rest of your life. Guaranteed, or your money back. Here's the deal. Children love to play, right? They love to have fun. But if we don't engage ourselves with them and them with us, then it becomes boring. Now, when I started speaking, I gave you what we call verbal commands, and that's important. Why do you think that happens? It's something that goes on the inside. What causes that? We'll take a look at that and see. Now, on this song is called Come Inside the Room. How many of you have the Come Inside the Room CD? Raise your hand if you have it. One? That's it? Wait, hold on. Here? Okay, 2? About 5 people? Oh my goodness. I want you to do the verbal part of Come Inside the Room. We're going to do one from the top here. It's called Come Inside the Room, Make Around the Circle. Can I get some volunteers to come up here and join me? I'd like to have a couple of volunteers. Come up, we're going to make a circle right here. We're going to show the group. And the rest of you may be seated. Good job. All right, let's show business now. Now this is the way it goes. This is great. Listen carefully. I do not start my day, my children, now I'm a music teacher, and they must line up and come inside the room. And all of the music, all the lyrics are directional. All you have to do is follow directions. Now as you move, we're going to make us a circle. Oh, man, this is so cool. Now, I would be the leader. Now, we're talking about starting with my preschoolers. When they first come, preschoolers, 4 years old, they don't know anything about a circle. They don't know anything about that. They're trying to just get into places. But after a couple of times, they remember, all right, I'll be the leader and then I might jump out. Now, we can't make a true circle up here because of the way the stage is set, but let's try to see. So you have to listen carefully, all right?
Boys and girls, it is time to have some fun.
All right.
Now we will make it so
Do like this, and I'm going to start with line up.
line up.
Are you ready now? Follow me.
Soldiers in the army.
Your follow.
Are you ready? Are you ready? And a one, and a two, and a one, so let's go.
Come inside the room. Come in. If you know the lyrics, you can sing the word round circle, round circle. Cool. Come inside the room. Come inside. You got it. Make it round circle. You got it.
Round circle.
Stop.
Now face inside.
Face inside the circle.
Stand up straight. Now clap your hands.
That's time. Clap too. Oh, we can see you looking up on this. Come on now. Look at them in the air. You got it. Make it round circle. That's good.
Stop. Listen to me. This time when you sing, you can't jump up and down.
Oh, come on. I know you do it. They good, huh? But you guys look good. Let me check out. I got to assess this group. I like that. I'm gonna see if they can follow me. Let's go.
Stop. Listen to me. Move your body, clap your hands.
Oh, you can really have fun. Come on now. Move your body. Clap your hands. What is your name? Good job. Oh, come on. That's what you do. Make it round. What is that? Start the circle moving. If you want to straight out, just a little bit, make a big circle. Listen to the beat. You guys are good. Let's give a little big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a little big hand. Make it big hand. Like that. It's okay. You know what? They remind me of little kindergartens already. Little preschoolers. It's like, you see how children feel? It's the same thing. I ask people, what's the difference between a 4-year-old and a 34? Nothing, if it's that same child. They still like music, they like to have fun, it's just the kind of music. Did you remember anything in that song? First of all, have you heard it before? Have not. Now I haven't paid them to give me these answers. Can you tell me something that told you to do?
It told me to stop.
Stop, okay? Anything you remember? Just, it doesn't matter. Huh? She said freeze. Let me see. Freeze? I don't know if I heard that. But we'll find out. We'll find out. That's okay. What is there to say? Did anybody remember that? Raise your hand if you know. Just tell me something. I don't mind. She said, come inside the room. Good. Yes. She said, listen to me. You know the point I'm making, people? They're picking up what we call verbal skills now. You heard it, and they just heard it the first time, and it's a different sound up here too on the platform. And so now that's the same way the children learn, because everything we do is across the curriculum that leads us into reading, it leads us to high listening skills, etc. Now the rest of you, you can't sit and look at that. You're gonna have to stand up on the next song and let's see what you remember. Here we go.
Let's have fun. Clap your hands.
Come on now.
Clap your hands. Everybody. Clap your hands.
Come up a little bit more.
Clap your hands.
Listen.
Turn around. Touch the ground. Stand up straight.
Oh, come on. You gotta say it. Good job. I like that. Cool.
around, touch the ground, stand up straight, shake, and shake. I like this. Hold your hands up high, shake them all around. Put your hands down low. Now shake the ground, and shake your body.
Come on, come on.
Check it out. Turn around, touch the ground, stand up straight, shake and shake and shake.
Now listen.
Say I like ice cream. I like cookies.
That's good. Now check it out.
Jump, jump, jump. Jump if you like to jump. Come on, jump, jump, jump. Everybody jump.
Wait up, check.
Turn around, touch the ground, stand up straight, shake, 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 and shake. You look good. Come on, say I like tea. I like you.
That's it, good. That's it, come on. You got it.
You're looking very good, boys and girls. Give yourselves a hand.
You made me say thank you very, very much. Thank you very
There are
much.
12.
You made me say thank you so much. Got on the dancers here.
I was shaking it. I was shaking it.
You will only sit down after.
All right. Just a little bit. Good, good. I hope you feel better. I hope you are awake. Because that's important. Man, I like that. I saw that energy. Well, what do you think I was doing when that was going on? Yeah, but I did what I was doing. As an educator, I know like I was just having a whole lot of fun and just kicking and having a great time. But I was assessing the children. I looked at each one of them when I did my little turnaround like that. I scanned quickly. I looked at their faces. I looked at their movement. Because I want to know what's going on the inside. We as educators are here to what? Teach. My goal in life is to build up a world of wonderful people. People who have something on the inside and want to take it to another level. I think somewhere down the line, we've forgotten that. I can give you an example. Well, first of all, I've been teaching 20 years now. This is my 20th season, Memphis City Schools. I've seen a lot. I've taught in the private sector as well. I teach in an area where the children have very, very, very little. They look forward to coming to music. Most of them, I guess not all of them, but they look forward. When I come to school, they say, today we come to music. Mr. Richardson, tomorrow we come to your class. It speaks volumes. It tells me that they're looking forward to what? Having fun. But my goal is to make sure that they are learning. When I ask, what did you hear in that song? I wanted to see where were they going verbally. Some children don't get the opportunity to participate like that. the love's not quite there at home. So if I don't give it, the moment that I'm with them, I miss the mark. I've had students, former students, and these are true stories that I'm telling you, and not long ago, a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I met one of my students. And when she saw me, of course, I'm a little rare, and she started warning. She said, we had so much fun at Mr. Richardson. She had her husband with her. She said, before she introduced her husband, she was just so excited. We talked about keep a steady beat and touch your head, come inside the room. She was just excited, and we talked. And I looked at her and I said, Renita, you look the same. You look the same. And she did. She looked the same. And she, of course, said, I look the same. And I thought that was really flattering. And then finally, she introduced her. She said, this is my music teacher. And we talked, and she said, we had so much fun in those days. You know, she named the songs that we did. I'm like, wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. But that was elementary. We're talking at that time, for her, about 3rd or 4th grade. She remembered the songs, and she named a couple of them. I said, yeah. And then I got excited, and I talked about it. And we talked about some more things. But then I had a student about a year ago. I was at Kinko's getting some copies, and I noticed this nice little young lady. She stood back, and she said, I'll be with you in just a moment. Hold on. And I waited, and she helped somebody else, and she came over, and she looked at me. She said, do you know who I am? I said, oh my goodness, I got to know this. We were talking 20 years or so. I said, you look familiar, excuse me, but I don't remember. She told me her name, I can't remember it now. She said, you were my music teacher. I said, wow. And I asked her, I said, well, what was it about music? She said, well, first of all, she said, you were my best music teacher. And I asked her what's her occupation now. She said, I'm in college. I'm going to her junior year. I said, well, how was I your best music teacher? I mean, she's had what? You had elementary, you had middle school, you got high school, and you're in college. She said, you used to get down there with us and you played the instruments. You sat on the floor with us and we had fun together. She said, that's what I remember the most because you interacted with us. She said, my other music teachers didn't do that. I said, oh, really? And I took that away and I thought that meant something. And she stuck with that and she remembered the songs. Of course, I teach them to play the instruments and we'll get to that in a moment. But the guys, you know, sometimes guys get a little macho and all this stuff. But when they say, what's going on, Mr. Richardson, man? What's up, man? Mr. Richardson, man? I remember the Steady B stuff. Man, I still do my Steady B. I have my Steady B t-shirt and so forth. They remember that. I'm like, come on, they remember this stuff. And where I teach, and this is the truth, most teachers, they lock up their cars. And I've been in this area for about 15 years teaching. I don't like I just don't like my car. I feel safe. Sometimes I work late and it's dark, and my school sits in the middle of projects. Sometimes there's shooting. The next day you look on the news, somebody was killed that you know of. It's not the greatest environment, but you know what? I love it because I have that opportunity to change lives. And that's what I do daily. I make sure that I give them all I can. When they come to me, that's my only opportunity. So people see children all day long, and the kids hate it. But that's my opportunity, and I work at it. And so that's what I say today. That's what we have to do. And as they grow, they remember, and they can succeed. I want to share something with you a moment. And my question to you, just raise your hand. Who is the best teacher in here now? The best educator? Raise your hand so I'll see who it is. Okay, now hold on. Let me point this out. I see two young ladies pointing to this one person. Then I see a hand raised here, so I want to acknowledge. Is it all right if I step down a second? Okay, I see you pointing. She's the best teacher in the world. And you said, who are you gonna name? Hold on. Would you do me a favor? Would you come to my bed and I want you to come up here and talk to me a moment? Let's give her a hand as she comes. You have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I want them to hear that. Say it again.
I said, and I made myself because I strive to be the best teacher.
Awesome! to go places. I think maybe you're the second maybe, but I know nothing past that. She says she strives to be. You got to be awesome. I don't want to bust your bubble, but I'm the best teacher in the world. Let me tell you why. I've done a lot of research, and I've done a lot of assessing other teachers, and I have not yet, and I'm still looking, found anyone who can teach better than I can. But if you say you can, I'll go with that. And I only allow you to share that platform with me because you and I are thinking on the same page. Now, somebody else may have been thinking like that, but they did not raise their hand. And so since your thought process is the way we all should be thinking, I'll let you sit later over there. You can pick one of the gifts off the table today for being the greatest teacher in the world. Let's give it up. Well, she'll get it after the program, okay? We'll make sure it's still there. Thank you again. You look like she looks pretty young to me. But if she's the greatest, that's cool. That is pretty cool. Let's talk about the power of the brain. First of all, we know that a newborn brain consists of maybe 100 billion neurons or brain cells, okay? That's first formal. Each neuron forms a small branch-like layer called dendrites. You've heard of the dendrites, right? The dendrites are branch-like layers that extends outward, and they got little, I call it antenna-looking things on the end. And we'll try to come up with a little picture here. But the dendrite allows the neurons to communicate across the synapse, or the connection between the neurons. This is the key substance why children learn and why they learn through music, why it's so important. I shared the first testimonies for this reason. You know how sometimes we're teaching and we feel like we're not doing much? Sometimes they say, oh, they're just little children, they don't remember. Untrue. I felt that way once. But then after I started meeting people, like I said, I'm teaching children's children now. Some of my students are in the 5th grade, I taught their mother or their father and so forth. And they still tell me the things that we did. Well, after doing the research and not understanding it, our brain works like an electrical system. We have power, we have lights. You know why the lights are exciting and they came on today? That's because of that currency that went through. Of course, if you hit the switch and you don't get power, the light doesn't come on. If we don't charge the minds of children, guess what? The light doesn't come on. Now, if I was, and I have to own up to it, if I was boring, boys and girls, come on in. And if I had them come in the room like this, make a circle now, follow me. That's boring. First of all, somebody probably going to do something else. They're not going to want to be there. Because I'm not charging their system. If we charge the dendrites in a child, that's the operative word, then you will cause that child to do so many things, because when the dendrites grow, of course, the brain grows. That's the way we do it. Let me see if I can get this apparatus here for just a moment. Get this. Come on to the next one. Here we go. Just a little something here. I don't know if you can look up there, but you see this deal called the dendrites, and then we have the synapse. Between the dendrites and the synapse, when they're firing together, then you got them touching like this. You got this electric charge in between there. And let's say you play some music. And the dendrites grow, and the dendrites grow. The synapse grow, and the synapse grow. And when you have that going on, guess what? You got all this stuff going on in the inside of the brain. Then you see it come through the children. Why do you think little children can barely, what's your name? Now, what is your first name? Pookie. Pookie. What's your real name? In other words, it's hard for them to even communicate or put on a rap tape. told me Pookie, they call me the same. They tell me everything, but my name is not Maine. I can do it this way, I can do it that way. Just put my music on, man, and I can play. Little kids can do that. You know why? Our world system is charging the dendrites with their music, and this is what we're doing. Come on. Okay, now we're going to do our alphabet. A, B, C, and then you got the word system out there. A, B, C, and then comes D. You can say the alphabet. You can say it after me. E, F. And so we're charging what? Those dendrites in our world system when in our classrooms. Just a little diagram there. But let's move ahead here just a little bit. Now the synapse. Let's talk about the synapse there. The synapse works by sending a special chemical signal called neurotransmitters. You know when I'm talking about that electrical charge? Now we always tell children, don't you put your finger in that plug. Because if you do, you're going to get a what? Shock. Well, guess what? If we put that finger in a musical plug, not literally plug, but giving them good music and something to stimulate their brain, they will get a shock and they get a chance to learn. If enough variable signals stimulate the neuron, it will fire, meaning the dendrites grow. When the dendrites grow, what happens? I didn't hear you. What happens? The brain grows. You can have children's brain grow bigger or cause their dendrites to grow by giving them enriched what? Enriched music environment. Now tell the truth, you don't have to raise your hand. I wonder how many of you really give your children a rich music environment. When I started this morning, I came up with a little song. Some of you were looking at me, you look like this. Some of you had already tried to do an assessment. I wonder what we think he is doing all this stuff. What is he trying to do? I did it. As I was looking, you were looking at me. I got your attention. I gave you a musical rich environment. So if your environment is rich, you can do it. If I give you and ask you to recite the 12 months of the year like this, January, February, March, April, May, that's all right. But I can get you to learn it within 2 minutes if I do it this way. You say the ones together, go 1, 2, go. Come on. 12 months and a year. Who knows that song? Cool, you must have a CD dollars. I like that. Well, let's see what happens for real. Let's see, can we get our dendrites to grow? You want to try it? Here we go.
You do your special move in your special month. Have fun.
Now, the way this song goes, in your special month, let's say your birthday is March, and if it asks you to march like a soldier, I want you to march like a soldier. Then it's going to tell you something to do, okay? Here we go.
Boys and girls, it's time to play a game. The month of the year game.
A special game.
You will do your thing when I tell you to.
And then you will see.
Now check it out.
Everybody say
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 12 months of the year.
Now listen.
if your birthday is in January, wave your hands. Wave side to side.
January.
Up January, wave your hands.
I like that.
Wave side to side. 12 months of the year. 6 months.
If your birthday is in February, clap your hands.
February, clap.
To the beat in the month of February.
Cool, clap your hands.
Clap your hands. 12 months of the year. 6 months.
If your birthday is in March, you can march like a soldier.
I'm looking.
You are in the army.
What is that saying?
March like a soldier.
Oh, God, yeah. I like that.
March like the sunset. 12 months of the year. Sit down.
If your birthday is in April, wiggle your body.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. In the month of April.
Look at those things.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. 12 months of the year. Sit down.
We're gonna say January,
February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 12 months of the year.
listen.
If your birthday is in May, shake your body. Shake to the bottom, shake to the top. Now shake.
Cool. Shake to the top, to the bottom.
12 months of the year.
If your birthday is in June, turn around. Now touch the ground in the month of June. Now turn around.
Cool.
Turn around. 12 months of the year. Sit down.
If your birthday is in July, try to fly. Flap your arms in the month of July.
July.
12 months of the year.
Cool.
If your birthday is in August, hop, hop, hop. Hop on one leg in the month of August.
You got the August on. That's cool.
12 months of the year. Sit down.
January,
February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 12 months of the year.
If your birthday is in September, snap your fingers.
September.
Snap, snap, like that.
your fingers.
12 months of the year.
If you are born in October, now jump, jump, jump. You can have one in October if you jump, jump. If your birthday's in November, drive to Denver. Pretend you have a car. Now drive to Denver. Drive.
Try to Denver. 12 months of the year.
If your birthday is in December, chop, chop, chop. Chop down the trees now. Chop, chop, chop.
January, let me hear it.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 12 months of the year.
You did a good job.
Cool. Woo, let's see. Now, what is most important, it is not so much as how many brain cells one has, but the number of interconnections. Now, let me see if I did this right work for me. You know, I did not know that. I did not know my 12 months of the year at first. But I learned a few. I remember March. Hold on. May. July. Okay, gosh, what is that? 3016 got my attention like the March or April, I forgot now. My dental is slowing down. What's the birthday month again, sweetie? March? I said it right the first time, March. They say always March the first time, but that's the right one. Do you get the point? Guess what? It happens all the time. This that child doesn't know. Just one time on that particular song, if you only pick out 2 or 3, you've increased your vocabulary. Why? Because of the musical enriched environment. You learn quickly. Why? Because the left and right side of the brain is working at the same time. That child is processing. They think they're just having fun. Not only that, I remembered a few people, and there are a lot of people here. But the children do the same. They say, that's not your birthday, yours in September. Why you still? You do it all the time. What? Not only only do you learn in 12 months of the year, but you're learning about others. It's a communication between the body, the mind, and your whole environment. So that's what we do. So when a person says that, oh, I don't do that much in teaching, not true, not so. Let's take a look at something for just a moment and see if we can, we got the, all right, let's look at this neuron here. Take a look over there. Earlier I was talking about right in these little cities, little antenna type things. That's what we get in the dendrites here, the way they're receiving that little charge. When that began to fire again, then the dendrites are growing. Of course, we have the nucleus here, and then right in between here, you see that little part there? That's the axon. That's the conducting fiber. That goes on in all of us. All of us. I don't know if anybody told you. Have you noticed when you get older like me now? You say, you know, I have to write it down. I remember when I could just do it, but now I write it down. Our dendrites, the older we get, the slower they produce. Why do you think at age 3, you can teach a child to learn multiple languages? You can teach multiplication facts. You think they're too young. That's what they say in America. Why do you think America is slowly but surely declining in our education field? We are not looking at the big picture like the rest of the world. You're the educator. And I have to say your name one more time so I can get these dendrites to grow. Danielle. If I think of Daniel, I can think of Danielle. I'm processing that information. The only reason why Danielle will be on top of her game in about 5 years, she will be all over the place. Her children, do you teach children directly? Tell me what you do, Danielle. You float. You float with the teachers. Okay, so she floats. I like that. I'm gonna learn how to float too. Give me a little bit about yourself, ma'am. Yeah. Infants and toddlers. Can you imagine if you were just playing that song to them? In your mind of minds, maybe not yours, but I've heard people say this. Oh, that's too old. They're not ready. What do you mean? There was a study done in New Zealand over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years or so now. They have several women who were pregnant, and they read to the children. They talked. They played music. And behind that study, those children were able to read by age 2. They were reading. It's because she started. If you started here, can you imagine the impact that you have? See, I know daily when I teach, without a doubt, I know I'm sending electrical charges. I know that. And when I look at my colleagues, what hurts me the most is see children teachers giving up on children. I don't care if they don't have the best clothes on. It doesn't matter because so-and-so hair is not prettiest. If we teach, and if we're passionate, can you imagine the world will be different now? You know why the rap community or the secular world is taking over with what they're doing? We don't do it. I learned how to rap. This little apparatus here, if I'm not mistaken, is called, is it all right to travel with the mic? Okay. Let me get it right now. What is this called? Hold on. She said iPod. That is outstanding. What is your name? Casey. An iPod. How did you find out about that iPod? No, that's okay. That's what this whole deal is about, your daughter. You had to keep up. We didn't have iPods when we were growing up. We didn't know what this stuff was. But guess what? If I wanted my dendrites to continue growing, I have to continue what? Learning. If we want to, now, that's why I'm inspiring children. When I don't know, I get my kid up, I say, let's show me something. I say, show me how I'm trying to get this certain song. And this is what they're doing. Punch the button, and I go down and say, where's this song located? And then I go here and I punch. And I go back I do like this. I said, let me see if that's going to work. Oh, it's working, y'all. Cool. Now, let's see if it's going to work. Rappers win because they know how to do it. Check it out. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, teachers in the room, let me tell you how to teach the children soon. All you do is learn how to rap. You can teach anything with the sound. All you do is try to do it like me. You can learn the alphabet and you will see. I will tell you first, you will say it next. We can try it together and make it work. Say A, B, C. A, B, C. I can be. I can be. A 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I can see. When you learn how to do a rap, you got to take words and put them this way. But when you learn how to do a rap, you got to walk it and do it this way. If you want to get the dendrites to roll, you got to give them a lot of knowledge. Don't sit them down and just look at the kids and say, nah, that is fine. Okay? You know. Just making up words. What kind of words did I use? Anybody I heard it said out loud? Rhyming words. I mean, people just say, I don't know how to rap. Yes, you can. You take a word. Hat. What comes next? Hat, cat, fat. You just got to make sure it makes some sense a little bit. Sometimes you don't want to rap and say something that's not working. But the point I'm making, the children who learn by rapping, I got that group. The children who learn by listening, the auditory learners, I have that group. Those who have to feel and touch, the kinesthetic learners, excuse me, I have that group. So I'm touching all the children in my room. Well, how do I touch them? By doing what in the beginning, assessing. So when I teach, I assess continuously. All the time. Now, I didn't talk about discipline. That's another game. Some people say, well, how do you get those kids this always? You know where I teach, right? If I teach an essential projects, usually those parents don't spend, usually not, it's always, they don't spend a lot of time with their children. They send their children to grandma, who is still young, younger than me now. When the children say, my granddad is 45. Your granddad, well, it's true because, remember, I'm teaching the parents of children, and their parents are only 31. The child is in the 5th grade or 4th grade. You're 9 and 10. Yeah, granddad is 45. But guess what? Granddad and grandmom is still trying to go back to school. Because somewhere off the line, other things were happening. You get my point? So when they come to me, I'm the magic man. I'm A through Z. You know what they call me sometimes? Hey, Dad. Dad, it's pretty deep. That's my uncle. Now, can you believe that saying? Well, I heard one say, that's my granddad. I'm like, oh, let's back down on granddad. Not yet. But the point I'm making, first of all, they love to be in the music environment. I go to classrooms and I watch teachers and this with us all day. Did I tell you not to do that? Sit down. I said stop. Then when I walk in, oh, hi, Miss Richardson. I tell you, these children, woo, you're just getting on my nerve. Do they get on my nerve? This is what I'm reaching for, right there. The big dendrites. Let's make it work for me, because if I can stimulate them here, I can get them to build a building. I can get them to do anything in the world. Am I changing the world? Sure. How? Well, I'm thankful they never break in my car. I'm still stimulating them. Well, when they come back to me and say, guess what? I'm majoring in music and I'm doing this now. I went to the credit union 2 weeks ago. Hey, Mr. Richardson! This little lady, she's excited. She works at the credit union. She's a teller in the back. Oh, I think she's like a supervising teller. And the other lady came out, the branch manager. She said, "What are you so excited?" "That's my music." That was my music teacher. She said, "That's your music teacher." Now you have to see this girl because I promise you, it doesn't look like I was a music teacher. I'm like, wow. You see somebody grown up and you want to be my daughter. Probably so, right? Yeah, so anyway, she was talking about and elaborating on what we did back then, and she was just having a great time. And we talked about that. She said, "We had so much fun at our school." That's what I live off of. I live off the testimony of the children. But my question to them, tell me why you call me your music teacher, or I was a good music teacher to you. I want to know. And I see a lot of my former students now, and that's what they say. And so I know I'm making a difference in the world. Now, in order to be the best teacher in the world, you got to believe you're the best. I couldn't believe only one hand went up. One. There's no way in the world that I walk in society and not be the best at what I do. No one is greater. When I look at you, there's something about you that's really special. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's in here. But I'm going to step down just a moment. I'm just surprised your hand didn't go up earlier, but I know what it was. You were just so delighted and have on the inside. You didn't know you should answer that outright, and you didn't want to step in anybody's toes. But it's not being arrogant. It's being real. Because if we all feel that we're the best in here, not only feel that we're doing it, then we change society. I want to sleep in our 10 years when I retire. I want to go to sleep and know that I made the biggest difference ever. I want to go to sleep and know that things are going to be a little bit better, because when I look at the news, that doesn't sound like it. But maybe in Indiana, but where I am, no. You see what's happening in education? And you know why it's changing? Because we have so many teachers who stopped teaching 15 years ago. Now they're working for a check only. The government is saying now, we're going to cut it out. We're going to cut the funding because they're not teaching. We're going to cut this program. They're not using it. And it's making the great teachers like you and me. I'm not suffering behind it. Like I always have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Because great teachers think like that. They don't stick on one plan, right? You said it. And so getting back to that, if you can be the greatest in your game, you can't let anybody take you from that. Nobody. When I created these songs, you know how I created them and why? I walked in rooms, in classrooms, and I let the teachers teach. And I thought they were so, and I had to tell the truth, they were boring. Kids running all over, no control. I kept doing the research and writing. I would get songs together, and I said, play this a while and try them and write something down. Tell me how the children respond. I would get a response, and I take notes on that. I've been traveling and doing this thing for like 19, right at 20 years now. And what breaks my heart is when somebody said they can't do that. Boy, when you say the word what somebody can't do, and you're an educator, I want to say you're in the wrong field. Get out. We are here to make that difference. Do you? Yes, you make a difference. I would have quit a long time ago. I know I make the difference. I had a program in school just last 2 weeks ago. My principal was a person, and I love my principal. She's a different breed. She said, I hate programs. I just hate it. I was just sweet in her own way, but differently, But we had a little program. I had all type of children involved. Those who the teacher said bad. Those who the teacher would never let participate, especially, and I don't mean however, we're talking on the lower end. But at the end of the program, she said, Mr. Richardson, you're my guy. She said, I just love that you give a hug. She said, that was so nice. Just the way you put it. And when the children were in there, and sometimes we can have programs in my school, this right on in. But they were all quiet. Because this time, I wanted to do another research project. This was our, quote, Black History program. Some people call it the Brotherhood or whatever you want to call it. But I called it our musical day program. I had the kids dancing, we did the streaming stuff, but they had to learn according to the sound of the drum. There was no verbal communication. They had to remember, I got to play. And all kind of things were going on, and I never said a word. I had my student drummers, they were kicking it. I said, here's your part. I can. They had to remember words that I gave them to do by speech and putting it on that instrument. Had some tough percussion part. Play on the drum. I can. So we had all this rhythm going. And other teachers like, hey, Camilo, they like his class. They always do what he says do, but they don't do what I say do. And they're being out of shape. That's because I'm firing up those dendrites. And they're sitting there slamming the kids, verbally. I don't know about you, you haven't seen that, but I have a lot of places. I go into some home care, I go into daycare, and this is the truth. My child couldn't know. I wouldn't allow. It's unfortunate. And so that's why I took the time to take my music. And this is one song that I really want you to check out. It's a song that I wrote years ago. And it was designed to inspire every child in the world. The name of the song is called Don't Give Up on Your Dreams, Believe in Yourself. That's what's missing. If an adult don't believe, how can I convey to the child? If I'm tired, not giving up, how can I convey? Because I believe. But listen to the lyrics. And I forgot to tell you, the children on the CDs are all children that I taught. And this girl here now, I think this is somebody in college who's going to sing this song. The music, I didn't want anybody else on the music. I wanted to do it myself. So I play all the instruments. The lyrics, I worked it out because I wanted every child that were here remember